Welcome to MOOC. Today we will have a discussion on changing identity and culture, role of media and social media. Changing identity and culture, this is a vast subject, but let us begin the discussion in such a way that how media has changed and social media has changed in last decade. It is needed to understand before the role of media and social media on changing culture and identity. Earlier, you know that we had complete three verticals of media: newspaper, radio and television. But today, if we go through the character of media, then a newspaper, it has its own social media platform with the same name. Again, the same newspaper along with the regular and authentic social media approach, the new concept has come in and the newspapers are working on it, and that is a podcast. Again, when we are talking about radio, earlier we had no idea that how a radio jockey, RJ, normally look like. But today, the same radio jockeys, they have become celebrities. They have become part of different audiovisual advertisement, commercials. Why? Because they are creating their social media content, sitting in the same radio channel office, and also podcast. Similarly, television, they have a several type of platforms in their one umbrella, the channel, the live content of the channel in social media. They have a written content in social media. They have podcast. They have a different type of Facebook Live, we know, and so many inclusions of all these medias in one platform. So, earlier we had a concept that there is a contradiction among newspaper or television or social media, but now it is a inclusion. So, we cannot differentiate when we will discuss about the role of media and social media regarding changing culture and identity. We cannot differentiate that media and social media, they are making a different type of impact or they are playing a different type of role in such a changing situation of culture and identity. Because as I explained to you, that everything is now inclusive. What we are watching in television, that is coming in at the same time in social media, and what we are watching in social media, that will be publishing in the next day newspaper. So, it is a 360-degree influence. It is not that newspaper is or normal media or so-called traditional media is influencing in one way or social media is influencing in other way. This is not that. This is number one. Secondly, we must know that in today's world, in any part of the whole globe, we cannot suppress any information. We are talking about culture and identity. If anything happen which is damaging for culture and identity, which is a major change in culture and identity, if we believe that that is not good for the society, if the what we say, the authority, the so-called government, if they think that this is not good for the society, according to their perception, and we need to suppress it, today we cannot suppress. Within seconds, anything happening in America where somebody is making brash firing in a school, we are getting the information. Anything happening between Russia and Ukraine, we are getting the information within seconds. Anything happening any part of our country, we are getting the information in 1 second. So the point is that now this change of society, change of culture, change of identity and media, they have become so intermingled that this cannot be separated, this cannot be identified separately, or as I saying that cannot be suppressed from the audience as a whole. Let us begin with an example of our country, Bharat. You know that one incident happened in 2002 in Gujarat. At that point of time, media was not that type of a character which we discussed in our introductory part. Then newspaper was the only source of information, radio the another source of information, but that had no visual effect, and television was in its primitive stage, at least in our country. So we had different type of informations from different corners with the different views. It has happened in Gujarat. We have learned so many things through these traditional media those days, and that incident still following our political agenda even in this 2023, almost more than 20 years. Now, you know that recently a debate, a dispute, a controversy has happened due to one so-called documentary in an international media. Now you see that such type of a targeted information that has created a different type of perception in one section of the audience and the other section of the audience. Have we tried to learn that what exactly happened? That is not possible. Individually, we cannot visit the place of occurrence and to try to find out that what has happened. We have to depend on certain things. Those are either books or media or today social media. Now, at the end of the day, what has happened? Happened is that a section of the media and social media trying to influence the audience in one way which is against our Prime Minister, and the other section, they are confident that what has happened in Gujarat in 2002, that has nothing to do with our Prime Minister, who was the then Chief Minister of that state. So we have to decide that how and which part of media influencing our thinking, influencing our surroundings, or influencing our opinion making, that we have to think properly. And that is why that when we talk about newspaper, when we talk about radio, when we talk about television, all are in one way or other monitored by the government of all countries, or by monitored by some sort of parent organization. But social media, the people who talk about the crony capitalism, they must know they spread this concept of crony capitalism through this social media. They must realize that this social media is owned by such capitalists. These are the media through which we are interacting, my friends, that is owned by an individual. And there is no monitoring system. We must understand that. And that is why the same company, they have created a concept of fact checking. Now you understand that how things are influencing the society and culture and identity. The same media, the same owner who has spread the business of social media, they have created the platform of fake news. The same owner has created a platform, few tools for fact checking. There is no official monitoring system on this, and if the government try to do that, we are saying that this is an attempt to strangle the free speech. So we need to understand that how the media and social media influencing the changing culture and identity, or whether this is a targeted approach to influence the so-called changing identity and culture. Now again, let us go to another example, very contemporary example, that is a conflict between Ukraine and Russia. Bharat has created, or Bharat has summed up a different type of a concept and different type of a conclusion out of this, but all of us, we know that the conflict must end, and the people who are now destitute, they must come back to their motherland, settle there. But the point is, through this social media, we know that how our foreign minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is dealing this atmosphere in different platforms. Here how media and social media influence the identity and culture. Because in those days, we normally were not in a situation to know that how Dr. Jaishankar, our foreign minister, is flatly describing the position of Bharat, describing the position of this civilization. I must not say that Bharat is just a geographical entity. It is a civilization. And Dr. Jaishankar is talking about the civilization, and at one place he said that Europe, they think that their problem is the problem of the whole world, and the problem of the world, of the other geographical area, is not the problem of Europe. How can it be? Here it is a major example how media, social media, culture, identity, geopolitics, everything is interdependent. Why I am saying this? Because you know that few years back, we had another problem in some parts of Asia. What problem? That was a problem of terrorism, problem of extremism. You know what type of terrorism and what type of extremism. A country has ruined, a country called Syria that was ruined, and some other countries in the adjoining areas. And there also the normal citizens, normal, absolutely normal citizens, the citizens like we are talking about the Ukraine. But those normal citizens were not properly accepted as a refugee in those European countries, the way the displaced people of Ukraine are accepted in the same European countries. So don't you think that this was also an issue which the media, the so-called in European countries, in Western countries, they must focus on regarding the influence which we are talking about, influence of media and social media and on culture and identity. So if we have anything to influence on culture and identity, then we must first inform the people that this is happening. But as you know that here I must come to another thing, that there are different type of informations in today's world. What type of information? One is normal news. Another, what we say, that is a selective news. We will publish this news and we will not publish this news because this is beyond my editorial policy. How the editorial policy is decided? That is decided on geopolitics, that is decided on socio-economy, that is decided on, because today media is absolutely a business. This is not that 100 years back when we used to think that media was a movement for some cause. It may be the struggle of independence in America, or struggle of independence in African countries, or struggle of independence in Asian countries. In all the cases, Europe was the colonial force. And the same Europe is now saying that why you are not thinking about our brothers and sisters of Ukraine. This is the problem. This is where the dichotomy is. So the point is that, as I was saying, that some information is obviously information, then some news is selective, and another major disease has engulfed the entire media, and that is suppression of information. Yes, this is happening. We are suppressing information. And that is why what will happen in future, when any researcher like you try to find out what has happened 10 years before, what has happened 20 years before, we will not be able to get any information from media because media has suppressed informations. This is not good. This is absolutely, I know that media is not playing its role, so there is no point of discussing the role of media in changing identity or culture. Because we don't know that how a person, you remember, one little boy of 2-3 years old, his dead body at the bank of one ocean. This was photographed few years back, and that spread through whole world, and people said that, oh, what is happening? But those people are not properly settled in the European countries where they wanted to. And when we came back to this conflict of Russia and Ukraine, similar little boys or girls, they became homeless, and the way certain portion of the media publicized those things, why? That little boy was a Syrian boy and this little boy is an Ukrainian boy. How can it be differentiation? That is what our foreign minister is objecting. Bharat is objecting, because for Bharat, we think about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Who is getting displaced? Whether he is in Syria, whether he is in Cambodia, whether he is in Myanmar, whether he is in Ukraine, or whether he is in Kashmir Valley. We are concerned about everybody, and media should do that. Media cannot be selective, media cannot suppress any information, and media cannot begin views from its first page or from his first bulletin. Views is the editorialized part, and news is something different where all and every information should come with any sort of with no sort of biasness or prejudice. Now let us come to our concluding part of this discussion. Let me give you one example that at present we have a conflict. What type of conflict? That how Bharat is surviving in last almost 10 years. There is a information bombardment at the international level from a section that everything has ruined in Bharat. Everything has ruined. Its culture has ruined, its identity has ruined, its social life has ruined, its social fabric has ruined, everything ruined. And if this continue, then this geographical area will collapse either in Bay of Bengal or in Arabian Sea. This type of information is spreading throughout the world by a section. Again I am saying by a section. West Bengal was at the top in case of witchcraft killing. You know, Bengal, which you consider as the one of the most educated state of the whole Bharat, hunting witch, even today it is a practice. Has it changed after 2014? Rather, I am giving you another example. A lady in Assam, she stays in Assam, Meghalaya border near Gwalpara. You know the Gwalpara. That lady is given Padma Award. Why? Because she has rescued certain male and female who identified as a witch due to different reason for property, this and that, and created a village and kept all those so-called witches with their little children, opened up school, and that village is surviving in a very peaceful manner. That lady finally given Padma Award by the same government, which people are saying, a section of the people are saying that changed the culture and identity of our country, Bharat. So this is where the role of media and social media, we must try to understand that how they influence the culture and identity, or identity and culture is influenced by media and social media. We must try to learn. We have the option of social media now. We must try to go through that. We must try to find out what is fake and what is original from our own perception, not by the tools, because the tool is created by the same owner. Don't go by the tool. Use your perception, use your rationality, use your wisdom, and decide that which is right and which is wrong. When a father is carrying dead body of his son or a daughter for not having ambulance in one state is a story, and in other state when it is happening in Jalpaiguri in West Bengal, it is not a story. It cannot be. This is how culture is influenced and identity is influenced, and it changes identity in many places. You know that when we talk about Indian cinema, at one point of time, Indian cinema was identified by Hindi cinemas. But we have Satyajit Ray. But we have Adur Gopal Krishnan, we have Sam Benegal, we have Govind Nihalni. And now what happened? Now some other people from South India, they are saying that you have destroyed and we are creating now. But everything is Indian cinema. Mumbai is also Indian cinema. Tamil industry is also an Indian cinema. Telugu industry, Kannada industry, Bhojpuri industry, Bengali industry, Ahom industry. Everything is Indian cinema. Media should play this role that you cannot segregate culture, Bharatiya culture or culture of any country due to your own purpose. For your own business, you cannot do this. I will end with one last thing. Northeast India. The diamond part of Indian geography. Today, we many, if we go through, I appreciate the vloggers, the travel vloggers who are exploring Northeast India, coming from other part of the country. We know what treasure is hidden in Northeast India, and that is slowly getting explored by the same media. The culture is getting mixed up with the rest of the country. That was needed. That has not happened 10 years before. That is happening today. Today we know what is the festival of Nagaland. Today we know what is festival of Meghalaya. Today we know what Meghalaya, all of you know that Shillong is there, but you had no idea that Tura, another part that is there. Now media is exploring. So that culture is coming closer to the rest of the country. The Hornbill festival of Nagaland, of Kohima, that is becoming popular. Festival of Manipur is becoming popular. Now many people are going to Tripureshwari temple of Tripura. You did not have any idea. This is how culture get influenced by media if media play the positive role. So, to end it, be a very focused and use your wisdom, use your rational, use your thinking to identify which is original and which is fake, and try to compare it with the surrounding culture, surrounding identity, and you will find that media and social media has a positive role. The negative part we have to keep out of our mind. Thank you very much.